All right. So I know yesterday we talked in depth about Carney's. I don't know what it was. It was like a a public torture session for Mark
Yeah.
Carney, and it's
Public
funny because if
humiliation ritual. Yeah.
yeah,
Public
that's
humiliation ritual. Yeah.
exactly what it was. Trump talked for 29 minutes. Carney talked for 4. And Trump basically
Is that
said,
it?
look at my nice stuff. You're still getting tariffs. Thanks for coming." Um, and also told him, "You're elected because of me." Basically telling
Yes,
him, "I own you now, and I,
that's
I
right.
can either make you or break you." I think that's what was the unwritten thing there, or the unspoken thing. Um, but Carney was, because the separatism thing is, it's not even the elephant in the room. It's the herd of elephants galloping, trotting, frolicking in the field on
Mhm.
that. And when Trump is talking about 51st state, naturally Carney was asked about Albertan's push for Western separation. Let's hear what he has to say. This makes me want to gag.
Parlant de l'Alberta, que pensez-vous de l'idée
Of
de
course, in
Daniel
French.
Smith d'encourager la tenue d'un référendum sur la souveraineté d'Alberta?
Euh, le Canada, le Canada est plus fort que quand nous travaillons ensemble comme Canadiens et Canadiens. Et je suis Albertan. Et je crois fièrement en Canada.
We're gonna find the English
Alors,
version. Anyways, I don't
Okay.
know if
I
you heard
think
him
the
say
question
that.
was,
Je suis Albertan. Yeah.
yeah, I think the question was, what do you think about Alberta and this and separation? And he said, as an Albertan, uh,
Yeah.
as an
I'm
Albertan,
an Albertan. Yeah.
uh,
I think
yeah.
maybe we have
Oh, there we
this.
go. Yeah.
He
Canada's
says
stronger
Canada
when
is
we work together.
stronger. Yeah. As an Albertan, I firmly believe that. Uh, you weren't born here. You lived here for a bit and then you left the way you should have,
Hmm.
for Ottawa and then England.
Collected fancy passports from around the world,
Yeah.
branched out, did all of your work for Goldman Sachs, and got your fancy degrees, and you haven't been an Albertan ever. Like, ever. There is no worse representation than an evil doing global banker in bed
Right.
with the WEF and the Liberal Party of Canada. There is nobody that is less Albertan than that man right there. And to say that they're, like, I think he says later that that they're not gonna that he's not gonna, well, he did when he talked to Trump, that Canada will never be a 51st state. He's basically telling Western Canadians that he's not open to hearing from us. So
Right.
that means, you know what we have to do, guys? We have to talk louder about this
Right.
to make it crystal clear what we're after in this point. But yeah, putting his head in the sand and saying it doesn't exist, it'll never happen. This is unthinkable. This isn't who we are. Well, that's not going to help.
Yeah, that's how I know you're not an Albertan, is if you don't
Right.
think that Western separation is a real thing.
Yeah.
Because it's always in the background. Sometimes it comes to the
Mm.
foreground, as it is now, but it is always sort of just percolating under the surface, waiting to explode like some sort of geyser in
Mm.
Yellowstone National Park. Like, that's what it is all the time. It's there, it's there, it's there. It blows up and then it recedes, but I think it's not going to recede the way
I don't
everybody
think so
is
either.
thinking so this time.
I don't
Um,
think so either.
yeah, wearing an Oilers jersey or cheering for the Oilers doesn't necessarily make you an Albertan. Like, it
No.
just doesn't. Like, if that's what passes for it in Carney's mind, I guess. Let's go into this next thing. We talked about it yesterday. Someone should tell Julia Wong to look inside yourself, Julia, because the government waste phone call coming from inside the house. So CBC thinks they got a real scoop here. We talked about it briefly yesterday. And we talked about it briefly yesterday because Alexa interviewed that guy in Ottawa who brought it up. In a
Right.
town known for government waste, where the government waste lives, he's like, yeah, that Alberta lady's wasting all kinds of money. By the way, I think a round trip flight to Florida is like, if you're buying it on short order, business class, $2,000. So
Right.
she took a
Right.
couple people with her. This ain't
Plus
bad.
accommodation and food. Like trips to Disneyland for a family of 4
Yeah.
cost more So
Right.
what are we complaining about? $10,000 is 1/5 the price of 1 month of alcohol in Melanie Jolie's foreign affairs budget. So this is
This
one
is
fifth.
like Trudeau's annual bottled water, drink box water bottle sort of thing budget. Like, give me a break. I'm nitpicky about government waste, but I think based on the return on investment, the ROI here is well worth
Yeah,
it
you
because
think? Yes.
we got 10% of tariffs and the rest you got 25. Yeah. So she took, by the way, Rob Anderson, Jessica Pollock, and who's the other one? James Rajat. So our senior representative to the United States. So we took basically our provincial ambassador, our chief of staff, and Rebecca Pollock. So now we got $8,000 in flights and $2,000 for accommodations and food.
And transportation while you're there. I'm going to ask them to cost out my next family vacation. Honestly, they look really,
who's
really
booking
good at
this?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a nothing burger. But trust the CBC to try and make a mountain out of a molehill.
Look at my guess. Look at my guess. I knew it. Travel was billed at I play a little game with my kids, by the way. Mom guessed the grocery bill, and I can usually get it. Although inflation took me a while to get back in the groove, I can usually get it within $3 on a $400 grocery bill. I am really good, and that comes with growing up poor and knowing where your money goes. But I guessed this within $65. Okay, travel was billed at $7,935. So I don't know.
Yeah, all 4 stayed at a Marriott, which is a nice sort of middle of the road kind of hotel.
3-star.
Nice little continental breakfast down in the lobby in the morning. You know, just nice. Probably has a water slide. It's not staying in some crazy.
The waffle maker works. Like I don't.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. But again, the $1.4 billion CBC, whose boss decided to go to the Olympics and then make us pay for her French vacation at the same time.
Yes.
And who are promised $150 million more to create content nobody cares about, are worried that the premier spent $10,000 to bring 4 people to Mar-a-Lago on a mission to save us billions in tariffs, and they're outraged.
Just insane. This is leftist logic. This is leftist math. The math ain't mathin'. How dare you? How dare you? But I mean, when this is all you got, this is what you're going to try and make of it, right? Like when this is all you got.
Right.
It's pretty sad state of affairs.
Why am I the one always filing for access records on the United Nations climate change conferences and the costs it takes to bring people there? It's never the CBC, but all of a sudden they turn into Scrooge McDuck, the penny pinching skinflint when Premier Smith goes to Mar-a-Lago. They can't hide their hate for her or Trump, like in this stupid story.
No.
Honestly, this is a good news story. Look, we already like her. Stop.
Yeah.
We already like her.
Oh, just the best.
Oh, God. Okay. Mark Carney appears flustered when specifically asked what he said to Trump about stopping the 51st state tensions.
I heard you say, there's a difference between the president's comments around Canada becoming a 51st state as a wish versus a reality. You told him that Canada was not for sale. But many Canadians are offended and deeply angered by the fact that he keeps repeating this comment. So have you asked the president to stop calling Canada the 51st state?
Yes. Today.
Okay, specifically, what did you ask him?
Exactly what you just said.
But what words do you use? How did you ask him?
Look, I gave you an answer. Do you have a follow-up?
I'll say. What was his answer?
Well, we'll look. I don't know. He's the president. He's his own person. I would go back to showing the difference between a wish and a reality. We're very clear. I've been very clear publicly, consistently. I've been very clear in private. It was clear again in the Oval Office. Would be clear throughout. The president, he understands that we're having a negotiation between sovereign nations, and that we will only pursue and accept a deal that's in the best interests of Canada, not just in the short term, but in the medium and long term for Canada.
So basically, he asked Trump to stop saying the thing that upsets all of the pearl clutchers in matching
Yeah.
sweater sets, and Trump was like, no,
No,
I'm
not
just
good enough.
gonna keep saying it. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep saying it.
There was one thing, I have to dig up my own tweet here. When Carney was having to sit there and listen to Trump badmouth Chrystia Freeland, and I thought, okay,
Oh, that was glorious. That was actually glorious. Yeah.
because there's really nothing Carney could do now. If he had spoken up the way I believe a righteous man should have, when a friend and ally is being called a horrible person. Like if somebody said those things about you, Lise, actually, I think people would know better than to say anything mean about you in front of me. I just think they
Same.
know.
Yeah,
I think they just know.
Yeah.
But this is Trump showing Carney who's boss, because Carney is having to sit there and listen while Trump is saying about Freeland, she's a horrible person, she's this and she's that. Carney is entrusted with the welfare of Freeland's child. He's her child's godfather. That is somebody who's supposed to be like a pseudo parent ally to your family. Maybe she doesn't think it's a big deal, but I think the people who I chose to be the godparents of my children, should something ever happen to me, I trust them to raise them in the ways of Sheila, that they're,
Right.
it's not just a religious obligation, for me it is, but also a values obligation,
Right.
that they stand up for
Right.
what's right, and would never sit there and listen to somebody call me down. But he did. He just sat there and sucked on his teeth. And anyways, I said it says a lot about the kind of man Carney is, but also Carney's between a rock and a hard place, because you say something and JD Vance is going to jump on you like a gargoyle.
That's right.
The old
That's
Zelensky
exactly
treatment.
right.
So
Well,
it was an embarrassment ritual. It really was.
It just goes to show you how unprincipled he is and how he doesn't value the people around him. That Donald Trump just crap talked your godson's mother to your face, and you
Yeah.
didn't have a single thing to say about it? Not a single thing? How embarrassing. Was she
Well,
in the room, Sheila? Like, do you
No,
know
I
if she
don't.
was?
No, I don't think so. I'm sure she wasn't. I mean, I would not have brought her to my first meeting with Trump, given
Right.
how much he
Given their
likes her.
history.
But there
Yeah.
wasn't even, him saying, she works hard within our government, or we have a difference of opinions on Chrystia
Right.
Freeland, but that's okay
Nothing.
because
Not a
we're
word of
friends
defense.
moving forward. He didn't. There were things that he could have said that didn't just stand there while Trump just drove over her a couple of times, but he didn't do anything. And it was
Yeah.
it was just weird to watch. I thought, God, what kind of dude is that? Like, what kind of man is that?
Well, so telling though, so telling. He's
Yeah.
willing to throw his very, very closest people under the bus to
Yeah.
keep up the illusion that he's got it all under control. Like, it's just
Yeah.
wild.
Olivia says she dug it up, so maybe we'll just show him
Okay.
saying he's a horrible person, and then just watch Carney. Again, you don't want to pick a fight with Trump. We saw what Zelensky did. You don't want to do that. But if you are a smart politician and a principled man, there are ways to navigate this. You could say,
Mhm.
I realize that you have a strained relationship with Chrystia, but she works hard for Canadians, or something
Yeah.
that would have shown that he was a man of loyalty and integrity, but
Yeah,
he's just
didn't.
not.
Yeah.
For what pact?
USMCA.
No, it's fine. It's there. It's good. We use it for certain things. It's there. We have the USMCA is a good deal for everybody. I won't say this about Mark, but I didn't like his predecessor. I didn't like a person that worked for. She was terrible, actually. She was a terrible person. And she really hurt that deal very badly because she tried to take advantage of the deal and she didn't get away with it. You know what I'm talking about. But so, you know, we had a bad relationship having to do with the fact that we disagreed with the way they viewed the deal. And we ended it. You know, we ended that relationship pretty much. Trudeau, when I spoke to him, I used to call him Governor Trudeau. I think that probably didn't help his election. But when I spoke to him.
Okay, I think that's it. But yeah, he didn't say a single thing, you know, when he's calling her a horrible person. Like, she entrusted you with her child.
Well, he's
And
like he's squirming. He's squirming in that moment. Like he's
oh yeah,
uncomfortable with what Donald Trump is saying, but he's also not refuting it. He's also not you didn't take the opportunity to refute it. So, I mean, who needs enemies when you got friends like that, eh, Krista? Eh,
yeah, yeah.
girlfriend?
Look, and I don't spare any thoughts for her. I think she deserves everything that she's got coming to her, and I do
Agreed.
definitely agree with Trump's assessment of her. I do, I do.
Yeah.
But a good friend you got there, Krista.
Yep.
I guess there is no honor among thieves. Now,
Imagine.
you don't need to do a good job in politics if you are a liberal, as long as you have the mainstream media on your side. Because look at what Le Journal de Montreal has on their front cover. Carney 1, Trump 0.
Okay.
Did you people watch the same thing I did? And as Esther points out, so he got the tariffs removed? Nope.
Nope. We're not. Yeah, and Trump literally said there's nothing he can do to sort of fix this for now.
He
This
literally
is
said there's nothing to negotiate. This is,
yeah,
he said, this is how it is. And then
yeah.
I guess he showed him around the White House. Like, here's my gold toilet, and here's my gold eagle, and here's all the new I imagine their dog velvet paintings of dogs playing cards that he's put up in the White House, whatever, showing him around. But like, there's
He's got
nothing to
he's got his
negotiate.
own he's got his own mugshot hanging in the White House
Yes,
right now, which I love.
I love it.
He makes all of the dignitaries coming from other countries walk right past his mugshot, and that tells them like nothing has stopped me. Nothing is going to stop me. So
Right,
get ready to deal with this level of tenacity in the room.
right.
Just awesome. Just
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, so Carney keeps talking about how these are negotiations between two countries.
There it is.
There it is.
So
Trump has
good.
said there's nothing to negotiate. So I guess if you made it out of there without being verbally dressed down by JD
Mhm.
Vance, I guess in the very, very low bar of Canadian media, I guess that's a win for Carney. I guess.
Mhm. Mhm.
Anyway,
Carney 1, Trump 0.
Carney.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sure. Sure.
Okay. Mark Carney says, I'm glad you couldn't tell what was going through my mind on what he was thinking when President Trump referred to Canada's artificial border and criticized Justin Trudeau. Anyway, let's watch this, and I've got thoughts.
Good afternoon, Prime Minister Tonda McCharles, Toronto Star.
Oh.
I was watching your face through the meeting in the Oval Office, and I wondered what was going through your mind when the President talked about erasing the artificial border and how he criticized your predecessor and Madam Freeland.
Thank you for your question. I'm glad that you couldn't tell what was going through my mind as that was going through. With respect to the first point, the president has made known his wish about that issue for some time. I've been careful always to distinguish between wish and reality. I was clear there. in the Oval Office, as I've been clear throughout on behalf of Canadians, that this is never going to happen. Canada is not for sale and never will be for sale. Some things, as I said in the room, some things are never for sale. And he agreed with that.
I'm not sure
I distinguish between the two. And then with respect to the importance of reestablishing a constructive relationship for negotiations of a partnership, of an economic and security partnership, which is what we were here for. I look forward, not back, and I think we established a good basis today.
I'm not sure that Trump agreed with him. And so why did Mark Carney walk out and lie?
I don't think he did. I'm pretty sure he said, well, no, it's always on the table. Or I'm not going to stop talking about it. It takes time. Right. What takes time is figuring out the 51st state, I think is what Trump meant. While Carney says, no, it's never going to happen. I consulted with the owners of Canada.
Yeah. It consulted with the owners of Canada, and it's never going to happen. And then he says, and Trump agreed with me. We all watched it. He said, well, you can see Trump go like this. His little like Trumpy, like when he says somebody says something he disagrees with, but he's going to be cheeky about it. When he's like, and Canada's not for sale, and you can see Trump go. And then he goes, it takes time. It takes time.
We're going to see about that. Yeah, we'll just see about that.
Anyway, sure.
Let's face it, Canada's economy isn't heading in the right direction. Inflation's eating away your savings, and government debt is out of control. No politician is going to fix that overnight. With Guildhall Wealth, you can hold real physical gold and silver inside your RRSP. It's a time-tested way to protect your retirement and take back control of your wealth. Call 1-877-8-SILVER or visit guildhallwealth.com/rebel to request your free investor kit. And hey, make sure to mention Rebel News.